The state Senate is considering a bill that would allow teen workers to be paid 85% of the state minimum wage. If you do the math on that, instead of making $8.15 an hour, people under 20 years old would make $6.92 an hour.
We're joined right now by Lonnie Scott with Progress Michigan. Lonnie, what is your initial reaction to this?
Well, I think that this bill is really just the latest in a long string of bills that attack working families.
I just want to start by saying that we reached out to the lawmaker pushing the bill, but State Senator Margaret O'Brien was unable to join us today. She did release a statement, though, so let's look at what she thinks the goal of this legislation would be and then get your response. She says this legislation is aimed at helping young people get their first job and also giving local small businesses incentive to give youth their first opportunity. Kind of sounds like the idea there is to make it cheaper for businesses to hire, but your thought with that?
Well, I think that that's not what this bill does. If you look at the text of the bill, this bill addresses 18 and 19-year-olds, which in a lot of cases have already had their first job, maybe out on their own, maybe they're trying to pay for books or college tuition. So I think it's pretty disingenuous for the senator to say that that's the focus. And, frankly, I think we've heard this line time and time again from the conservatives in our legislature that it's always about creating jobs. Isn't that what Right to Work was supposed to do? Isn't that what all of these bills that have really attacked low-income workers have done?
So, Lonnie, you think if they lower that wage, then that will affect working families because that'll make it easier to hire teenagers over adults?
No, I think that it's going to make it harder for working families because they're going to make less money. So I just don't think that...
well, but this is for 20 years of age, right?
Yeah, this is for young adults, 18 and 19-year-olds who, I'm a perfect example. When I was in college, I had a job that I had to work to pay for bills and room and board.
So is that a significant amount of money that comes into families from 20-year-olds and from teenagers that are working to support the family? Give me some background on that. Because I would assume when you say working families, those mothers and fathers are out there making a salary that would be, of course, beyond this, we would hope. And you're talking about they're hurt because of this by the younger people within the family?
Well, specifically, I'm talking about the folks who maybe are helping to support their family. I mean, I think that this just shows how out of touch the conservatives in the legislature are. It's great if there are parents in the workforce that are helping to support a family, but there are some 18 and 19-year-olds across the state of Michigan that are young working adults that are trying to make it on their own or that are contributing to their family income, and certainly losing any amount of money would hurt them.
Do you see any benefit to this bill? Is there anything positive in it in your mind?
I don't believe so. I don't think there's any benefit in this bill.
Could it lead to more hiring, do you think? Is it possible that by not paying as much that they'd be able to hire more workers, or you
I don't believe so. I mean, I don't believe in that type of economic model. I think that's what we always hear. Pay workers less, will hire more. And what we've seen in this country is an increase in income inequality where they're not hiring more people. They're just taking that money for the profits for those at the top.
Now, would this be for mostly seasonal jobs? And we were talking about teens. Is your research show that these are full-time, permanent jobs?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I wish that the senator was here to ask that. All I can go by is the text of the bill, which doesn't say anything about seasonal jobs. All it talks about is that all 18 and 19-year-olds would see a decrease or could see a decrease and could be paid less than the minimum wage.
Is that already the case right now? Is it my understanding that 16 and 17-year-olds can be paid a fraction of the minimum wage, so this is kind of making that age limit higher?
That's correct, and that's why I think it's disingenuous to say that this is just for folks who are looking for their first job. We already have that in place here. 16 and 17-year-olds, as you've discussed, can already make 85% of the minimum wage. This extends that to young adults.
Lonnie Scott with Progress Michigan, thank you so much for weighing in on this tonight.